Okay, so welcome everyone. It's another edition of our free webinar in Jofia Academy. This is the 5th edition. We're all welcome. Thank you for joining us this May edition. And by the grace of God, we'll commence right now, 4 p.m. and tomorrow again, the second day. So Jofia Academy is a training center where we control students on tutorials for computer courses, foreign exams, prepare students for foreign exams, we prepare students for Nigerian exams, JAMB, WAEC, NECO, GCE. For computer courses, we cover from zero computer to tech. Yeah, we take through desktop publishing, graphics, video editing. We also go through things like web development, UI, UX, cyber security, ethical hacking. So many things covered up in Nigerian exams, as well as foreign exams, including IELTS, TOEFL, GMAT, GRE, IGCSE, and we help students as well to get admission for foreign schools. And right on ground now, we'll be taking on one of our major courses, data analytics. And this evening, I make welcome our facilitator for tonight, is not other person than Mr. Victor. God bless you. Welcome, Mr. Victor.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome once again to this section, webinar, IT webinar, Academy, our main edition. All right, in this edition, we'll be looking at data analytics. Sharing my screen right away. Okay, I don't know if my screen is visible to you all. All right, so starting out with data analytics. Started this webinar for a couple of months now, in 2025, and it has been an amazing section to the world at large. So in today's session, we'll focusing on data fundamentals of data analytics, fundamentals of data analytics. Um, we having our learning objectives. These are the scope and key objectives we're looking at today's session. We're looking at find data analytics and its importance. Also be looking at identifying key components of data analytics process. So I mean to say data analytics as a process, that's a life cycle. So we'll be looking at key components. The main focus when everybody's talking about data analytics, what are the major process? Also, we also recognize different types of data analytics. We have types. Data analytics have different types, which we need to understand which from which, as well as understanding basic tools and techniques using data analytics and so on. So these are also have the case study. So these are the main objectives for the data. So focusing on the first three modules today, which has to do with the introduction of data analytics, has to do with the key components, and also the various types of data analytics. All right. What is data analytics? Data analytics has always been very popular and very common term. Everybody see about, everybody tell about. So today now we're looking at what is data analytics, and it actually refers. I hope you can see it on the screen. It actually refers to the process of examining, transforming, and interpreting data to extract meaningful insights that support decision making. So it's basically, talking about ways of examining and transforming data. That is, there has to be data. So when we need to examine, to make some critical and critical handling, transformation, and interpreting. That is examining. It's actually talking about trying to analyze it, trying to deduce and infer some particular decision making insights. So that is what data analytics simply talking about. It involves various techniques, including statistical analysis, machine learning, and data visualization to uncover patterns, trends, correlations within data sets. So basically, data analytics is not just you have a data. Let's say you have data of those in your class alone, and those. Let's say you are a class teacher, and you have those that have done their test, they scored this, they've scored this, and you just give students their exam first time. In the first term now, you just give students their test and exam, and you forget about that. The second term again comes, a class of 100 students, you also repeat the same process. They collect their test, they collect their exam, every other class assignment. You forget about it again. But there have always been a concern and observation that some pass, some do not pass. But because there's no gathering of data, they submit their scripts, and the scripts were being marked. They were returned to the students, and that's the end. There's no storage. So there's no storage, there's no gathering of data, there's no analyzing of data. So all of this is what data analytics is trying to encompass, so that you use those data analytic process to actually solve the problem of how can we make some people improve in their study? How can we make some people improve in their performance? How can we make some people do this and do that? How can we even project those that have passed? How can we use to project? How can we use that to motivate others? What is it others are doing right, others are doing wrong, whereas they're meant to be doing right? So that is basically what data analytics is putting us through, is letting us to understand the insights of decision making after collecting, gathering, data transformation, and examining data, basically. Okay, we can proceed. They have why data analytics. Why actually? Why? Why is data analytics? Why is it important? even apart from the instruction I've given, we need to look at some specific, and technical importance, of data analytics. So in before I continue, today we can in today's fast-paced data world, we have regard data to be the new oil. When we say the new oil, something that is something everybody is looking for, something that we we must have, something that everybody something competitive. Do you understand? So that's why we require new oil, something that we need to attain, we need to achieve, we need to acquire. Are we there? So organizations and individuals generate massive amounts of data daily. Organizations and individuals, they generate massive amounts of data daily. To understand that, from social media interactions and online interactions to physical interactions, there's a lot of data that's being generated from various aspects, from various areas of our lives day to day. So, all right, IoT sensors and customer feedback are also which data also generated. However, raw data is not valuable. They need to be analyzed, and we need to derive insight from them. So we're looking first at first reason why data analytics is important. Data-driven decision making. When we say data-driven decision making, that is, data analytics enhance our decisions. When I say decision in this context, I'm talking about business decisions, talking about effective decisions that pertains to something very, very effective as an individual organization. So data analytics provide businesses with the ability to make data-driven decisions instead of relying on assumptions or guts, relying on intuition. I think this is what actually happened. Maybe people that don't pass their examination are due to lateness. So everything will not be based on assumption. But when there's proper data handling, there's proper data analytics, you could make concrete decisions about a specific aspect, a specific organization, a specific workplace, a specific gathering. I don't know, maybe we are following that. So it provides businesses with the ability to make data decisions instead of relying on assumption or gut. Then also analyzing historical data. By analyzing historical data, companies can predict future outcomes and proactively address potential issues. So, as I said, it helps to, enhance decision making. All right. Another one we look at is competitive advantage. Companies that leverage data analytics gain a significant edge over competitors. I need us to know that companies that leverage on data analytics, that actually apply the principle of data analytics, they have a deeper understanding of their competitors and market trends. So if you really need to, or really have to surpass, have to gain ground market space, among competitors, you need to really use data analytics as an advantage. Okay, let me give you a short illustration. Let's say that, okay, you want to know if a particular product will be selling in so states. You need to know that, okay, you can only know that from the way you gather the data, the way you analyze the data, the way you transform the data, the way you can apply. I mean, the essence in which you can apply data analytics, that is when you can do that, okay. And product. For Lagos, for example, or city, let me see, is a civilized city now. We all know, we all know that gadgets or phones, to be specific, sell well, you understand, sell well, at large in cities. Lagos, for example, compared to rural places where there's no lights, where in fact there's no even good transportation to even get people there, it's less industrialized. So that alone, how do we know that? We can only know that through data analytics. When you're able to know that, okay, any means in which you can in fact that, oh, so area this product cannot sell from there. That is the decision actually. That is an inference. So for you to know that, it means that data analytics has been put in place. So next is efficiency and cost saving. Data analytics helps organization optimize operations, leading to reduce waste and better resource allocation. Okay, I will also say faster decision making with real-time insights, automation of repetitive tasks, freeing up human resources for strategic work. Now, what I mean by that is data analytics help companies to be more efficient. You can always do what we call monthly evaluation. You can always do what we call monthly evaluation, and to do that, it is based on the data that you have on ground. Oh, let's say we have this amount of people registered for our course this month. Then there's the following month, there's a reduced number of people that register or that apply for so courses. Maybe let's say IELTS, or let's say GMAT or SAT or SAT SAT. So, but there's a reduced number of people that register the following month. How can you know that probably this is when data analytics is put in place? You're able to have a record. I mean, and that's what we call a database. You have a data storage. Okay. Probably as they are applying immediately, or let's say the data is being kept in an automated system. Just that you are getting the data into your database in an automatic way. Just that you don't need to do that manually. So data analytics helps to increase efficiency and cost saving. Let's say maybe there's an omission of data now. It takes cost. It takes some amount of finance to recover some particular data that you could have just stored on your own for a time to analyze it, or a time to make some transformation or data cleaning and the likes. But if the data is not on ground, most times it is not cost effective. Understand? There's a lot that is being spent in retrieving such data. Then also at risk management and fraud detection. Risk management and fraud detection. This is actually close to partly close to cybersecurity or security at large. Okay, but if there's let me put this way: if there's proper handling data, and you can always cross-check or analyze, take a critical look into what we call financial risk. Last month, we got also number of resources, materials, but we did not use them. So that alone is giving you an idea that, okay, the following month, don't let us do that. So data analysis actually helps in mitigating financial risks. You have a concrete data on ground that you can analyze. You have the concrete data that you can look into and say, oh, let's do it this way. Let's improve in business decisions. Let's improve in business decisions. Let's improve in our operations. So most of the times, improvements in organizational businesses, they are always, they are always related and always having data analytics as well as the backbone, the major tool that helps in business operations and mitigating financial risks. Okay. Then lastly, on this aspect, we're talking about healthcare and public sector advancements. On healthcare, of course, we know that in fact, I will say one of the major recipe for hooking up anything in the health field is data analytics. You look at data, what they use, is it the injection or is it the syringe? Is it the stethoscope? No. But if you want to prescribe for a patient, everything still boils down to data analytics. If a particular, how do you know that a particular drug is not effective? At least you must have tested that drug on patient A, patient B, patient C, D, E, F. Oh, this drug, we need to get another drug. We need to use this drug 2 times in a day. This drug is to be. So you see, most of the prescriptions in the healthcare sector, they are fetched and derived from data analytics. So so that is a key point that we need to take in that. We need to know that data analytics is very important in every sector, in technology, in education, in various businesses, individual and organizations, in your families. You need to always understand that you you can't actually do without data analytics. So in fact, it helps you to even understand customer behavior, preferences, and needs. You understand? And I need to let you all know today that data analytics is more of process, more of the what, more of the understanding of the data and making the data available and using the data, analyzing the data, than just understanding any tool you want to use about it. Now, let me take that again by saying that understanding analytical tool, any analytical tool, it could be SQL, Python, whatever, it is not as important as understanding data analytics as a process, as a field, as a culture. Before now, the only thing is just that data analytical tools help you to do the work easier and faster, but the sense of data analytics is more important. Immediately there's a problem, whatever problem it is in the data world, the first thing you should be thinking about is data analytics. Immediately there's a problem, whether you want to build and you want to create a website, is as funny as that. You want to build a website, the first thing you should be looking at is what are the data analytics. I mean to say, what does the customer want? What does the customer want to be on the website? That's the data collection. You don't just build the website when you know what the customer wants on the website or on the application. That's the data analytics. Everything you want to do with data world in modern world today, everything has the data analytics as the background, as the foundation. You want to start up a business. What is my costing? Where are my customers? How many are my customers? You can't be planning. You don't have customer base already. Maybe you have a 10 customer base already, but you are bringing 10 million. And you are assuming you are working with customer of 1,000. that is a wrong action. So everything so doing at all, everything comes down to data analytics. You need to be aware of that. All right. So I don't know if this is going to, before we continue on mode 2, which is focusing on the key components of data analytics, if anyone has question or contribution or whatever that is not clear, can always put it on the chat box, and I'll be notified and get that. I will definitely address that immediately. So let's ensure that when we have any question on what has been talked about thoughts so far, let's that was put on the chat box into that GP fastest possible time. Okay, just like a recap, data analytics is a multi-step process that involves collecting, processing, analyzing, and visualizing. There's an aspect you need to visualize. That's why you see data analysts talking about graphs. No, this course basically is talking about fundamental analytics. And I'm not just, it's not just letting you just understand data analytics, how it can be used alone in your family or by yourself. No, how it can be used in anywhere you find yourself at any time. Get the point? So basically saying to say how you can actually start up a career as a data analyst. Do you understand? And a sound data analyst, after you've collected your data, you've processed and analyzed data, you also need to visualize the data. In as much as you are trying to drive decision-making insights, you are trying to drive inferences and deductions, how to make improvements on business, on revenues, on decisions, and so forth. So I mean, you also need to also understand that visualization is also a key, so that visualization helps others to understand what what we cooked up for so far in praise of data collection and gathering, cleaning, analysis, and transformation. So visualization it helps you to it helps one to display, to actually make others understand what we've done so far. So each component plays a critical role, ensuring that data used for decision making is accurate, relevant, and actionable. Okay, let's make progress. We have the key components we'll be looking at is data collection and gathering. We'll also be looking at data cleaning, looking at data analysis. This is leading us to something that data analysis is actually different from data analytics. Today, I want some of us to understand that data analysis is just analyzing the data that we have on ground. While data analytics is the whole umbrella that involves data collection and gathering, data cleaning, data analysis itself, data transformation, and data visualization. So we'll also be looking at data transformation and data visualization. Okay, progress. Now, before we continue on that, let's take a look at data and data sources. Data and data sources. First of all, what is data? So data we are talking about here is not data that you load on our phone. I mean, it's not like megabytes. Whereby, because I've come across some people that they've mistaken the data analytics or data analysis, data whatever we have only been saying, data security to be the data that makes their phone connect to internet. Are we there? And when they get data analysis, they think people that create that data or people that sell the data. Do you understand? So we need to understand that the data we are talking about here is more like we are talking about value here. We are talking about metrics. We are talking about metrics. What we can date with, what we can date with a being or an entity. I don't know if we get that. What we can relate with a being or entity. So that is the data we are talking about here. Something that's facts. A fact about something, or hypothesis, statistics, something that that's related to quantities, characters, symbols, whatever it is, whether numeric, alphanumeric, alphabets, or that's to be optical, something that is actually fact, that's the base of reasoning. My date of birth is December so, or December 30th or whatever. That is a fact. That is something I can reason. So anytime they tell me to put a data that has to do with my date of birth, I'll put it there. My name is data. My phone number, that is a collection of data. I'm already inputting a particular data into a form. If your bank says fill in so data, they're talking about those things that are pertaining, all those facts that are pertaining to yourself. They want to know those things. They want to have those things. So that is data we are talking about. And in the course of this, we'll be looking at data sources, where we can have, where can we get data from? That's the next thing. Where do data comes from? Where do data comes from? Okay, the first year, databases. Databases. All right, this term is actually close to something technical, whereby, well, most of us have always heard what is databases. Now, today, we will let you understand what the database is. Now, let's take a look at a store. A store where food can, if food is kept in your kitchen. I mean, in your own kitchen at home. You should have a store. Most houses have a store inside the kitchen. Now, that store that store has a lot of food, maybe uh, yams, rice, bag of gari, and others. So now, when the chef that cooks for the house wants to cook food, the chef has to go to the database, you understand, to check that, okay, the food the family wants to eat today or is eating today, is it available? If it's available then, so okay, let me take it and bring it out to the kitchen and cook. So basically, database is just where data are stored. So that same concept is what in the digital world, today. So basically, I said the data is stored in structured format. SQL, that is a structured query language. So in structured formats like MySQL, SQL SQL, and in no SQL database format, that is unstructured format like MongoDB, Cassandra, and the likes. You get? So the thing is, that same concept is what we have in the digital world. Most of the data that we work with in various websites and applications are stored in databases, either structured or unstructured. And that also will also lead us to what we call online database, and that is like cloud. Have you ever thought of your pictures you upload to Facebook? Where is it? Where is the picture? Where is it going to? Where is it stored? There'll be a time you'll be like, okay, I want to go and download my picture. Maybe you missed or you lost your phone, and you remember that some time or over the time you will do keep your pictures, you upload pictures on Facebook. So the thing is, have you ever wondered where those pictures are, are stored, are saved? So that alone is meant to give an idea that there's a database somewhere, there's a storage. It's not the pictures are not those files, your files or data, they are not just stored on the screen. They're not just stored on your laptop or a visible sky or something. So the thing is, the storage is called database, and that is properly known as well as cloud. Now this is now leading to like an online database. Though in this concept, in the context, I will liken all of them to database for now. So we have businesses collect transactional data, customer records, and financial information. So most of businesses data are buried in database. Yeah, they're buried in database. You need to understand that. So we have APIs. APIs. Don't forget that we are talking about. I don't want us to miss track. I'm talking about where the data comes from. How can we get data? Talking about data sources and data storage. So we need to understand that, okay, data can be gotten from databases. You understand? If I want to get your information, I can go to Facebook and go and get your name, get your address, get some things. Okay, I can even view your pictures. So that is, I want us to follow the lecture intuitively. So another concept here is APIs. APIs allow different software systems to communicate and exchange data. Now, let's say someone visits a restaurant. This is a bit technical than your family just eating, your people in your family just eating at home. Now, you visit a restaurant. And if you don't have anybody to talk to in that restaurant to make your orders, you'll be sitting there for hours. You won't buy anything, you won't eat anything, you will not you highest thing just to talk to somebody beside you, like maybe doing some talking. So the thing is, you will then realize somebody will come and attend to you and ask and tell you to place your order, ask you what do you want to eat. That person will go inside and go to the stand to that person will go to the stand to tell them, oh, this social person needs this. Is that available? Are we there? So now the communication channel is called API in this data system, in the data or slash data system. That person that comes to the the customer and gets data and take it back and ask if the data is available, or get the orders and ask maybe the order or item is available. Going from this point to another point to ensure that the customer gets the request. Just trying to give the person a response, ensure that the customer gets the request responded to. That person is API in this context. So API is more sitting on the communication level. So APIs allow different software systems to communicate and exchange data. So used to retrieve data from third-party platforms like social media, weather services, financial markets, whatever aspect. So API is basically about the exchange of data. In a more technical term, we call it request response system. Request response. Just that you request for data, you request for an item, and you get a response. So what is in charge of the communication is what? Is the API. If the API goes back and check if your order is available and your order is not actually available, it will come back and respond, gentleman or gentle lady, your order is not in the database, it's not available. Can you request for another order? No. Yes. Okay, request for another order. No. Maybe that is the end of that communication channel. You can visit another channel to get your request responded to. So API is just basically talking on the exchange data and the communication level. So the next, surveys and questionnaires. Surveys and questionnaires. Organization conducts surveys to collect customer feedback, employee satisfaction, and market research data. Example, Google Forms, Typeform, and SurveyMonkey. All right, basically, when we talk about surveys, questionnaires, and interviews, this is what we refer to as primary data. The primary data that we can actually get from the person directly. Yeah, data that you can get from the person directly is what we call primary data. Primary data. So we have a direct interview. You understand? I'm seeing the person, direct questioning. I'm seeing the person, what's your name? I put it down. What's your date of birth? What's the address? What's the phone number? What's the required data that I need? I'm getting it from the person directly. Direct questioning, direct interview. Using surveys, using questionnaires, using forms. So if you want to register for webinar, I'm sure most of us in this webinar session, we must have applied through forms, through the form. So that form is a form of getting a database of those in this section. Getting ahead. So it's a form of data analytics. So it's a form of getting primary data from the exact person itself. So that is that about survey and questioning. Next is IoT devices. IoT means Internet of Things. Internet of Things. IoT devices generate real-time data from sensors in smart homes, factories, and wearables. Example, we have smart thermostats, track energy usage, fitness bands, monitor heart rates and activity. Now, let's give more insight on IoT devices as one of one of the core aspects that make use of data. One of the core aspects that make use of data. Let me use smart door for example. Before a smart door works, smart door means that you don't need to use your key. That is, it uses a face ID, your fingerprints, uses a code. Maybe you have to press a code and the password. There will be a digital aspect of it that's the way that an aspect that is being programmed to put your password on the door. Now, for smart door, it works only by the use of your data, the data of the person that needs to open it, that needs to operate it. I don't know, maybe we are getting that. So it works by you need to impute your data. You need to program your fingerprint. You need to program your face ID. You need to program your password into that system. So that alone gets your data for it to work. So as massive as IoT devices, all IoT devices make use of data. Without data, there's nothing that it's going to operate on. So we need to understand that IoT device is also an important aspect of it. And then we also look at web scraping. Web scraping extract data from websites. This is the use of technical processes extracting data from websites for analysis, pricing trends, and consumer reviews. So it's just about fetching data from websites. That is you want to get people that have viewed your website. You want to get that really interact with website from one time to another time. You want to see the pricing trends. Like maybe if it's an e-commerce website, how many people make transactions, how many people order for so products, how many people come to the website at all, what are the reviews and feedback. So all those data you want to get are actually web scraping, and we have techniques for doing this. So but that might not actually the scope of this session. Then we'll be looking at data cleaning and processing. Data cleaning and processing is also a key component. We are still talking on key components on data analytics. So it's also a key component. So this has to do with how to ensure that we have clean data. It helps to ensure accuracy and reliability. The data we have on ground. No missing data, no repetition, no unnecessary data transfer. So in the process of data analytics, we ensure data cleaning and processing. So as I said, one of the core aspects in doing that is handling missing data. Filling missing values using statistical method, mean, median. So data analytics is an aspect that actually makes use of statistics to for operation. In order for you to be a good data analyst, you need to be sound in statistics, how to visualize it, and how to make inferences, statistical inferences, statistical reports. For example, you need to be able to gather the result of people that do JAMB this year and see 67% score below 200, 23% score between 200 and 270. That's the statistics. Do you understand? When I talk saying 200, that's the mean. 200 is the mean of, that's the average. That's the average result. You want to get the mean of the population, the mean of people that score 200. So data analytics is actually interwoven with statistics. In fact, it's to actually exercise data analytics to very large extent. need to make use of statistics a lot. So that's why I said beyond the tools and beyond the tools and what to do and other statistics and even the data analytics, sense of it is very, very important. Also, we have to look at removing duplicates. Also a way of data cleaning. Then standardizing format. This is has to do with date format. If you want to start your dates with day, month, and year, some data formats start with year, month, and date. So you need to know what that's applicable to the data you analyze, organizations you are actually analyzing for. Okay, then also detecting and correcting errors. Of course, anytime anything that has to do with data, numerics, metrics, that have to do with statistics, that have to do with calculations, you need to always ensure that error handling is non-negotiable, so that in order to get accuracy and eliminate inconsistencies. So you need to ensure that that we take the error correction, error handling very, very paramount. Okay. Then data transformation is also important. How to transform your data. Converting data into a common format. Like you have, for example, you have converting currency values into a single standard. You understand? So data transformation basically just talking about working with data normalizing the data you're working with. You need to transform. You're working with Naira in your data forecasting. Everything has to be in Naira. You don't need to merge Naira and dollar and put all currencies together. That's just for example. So you need to ensure that everything is in sync. There's cohesion. There's cohesion in whatever you're analyzing. It has to be concise and precise. Okay. Then integration, data integration, how your data can be integrated into multiple data sets. Just is paramount. How your data can be integrated into other. Maybe you want to integrate data from one party to a third-party website, or you want to ensure that I want to log into a website, but I want Google to supply my password that my Google has. That's an example of data integration. You understand? Using an OAuth 2.0. So that's an example of data integration, whereby you can put your data into what? You can put your data into, get your data from a third-party data system like Google, third-party SaaS system. Okay. So that is the end of the key components on this thing. So I don't know, just had a question so far on data analytics, the introduction, definitions, the key components that has to do with visualization, integration, and that we talk about, explain so far. If you have questions, you can put at the chat box. Chat box. I think Madam wants to give us some information. Madam wants to give us.
Okay, so thank you everyone. That has been a mind-blowing section. The fundamentals of data analytics. For many of us that started from the beginning, we had first module, second module just rounded off. We'll soon get into the last module. And it's vital we go through this over and over. By the grace of God, it will be there on the YouTube. You are free to watch over and over and also share the links to others, as well as this is coming from us, Jofia Academy. Our center is basically in for tutorials for computer courses, taking people from zero computer to tech world, where we teach UI, UX, front end, back end, cyber security, data analytics, as we are taking the course right now, digital marketing, ethical hacking, as well as graphics, PowerPoint, Excel, the basics of them to any level of tech. We also get into Nigerian exams, locally based exams, JAMB, post-UTME, GCE JAMB, WAEC, NECO, basically Nigerian exams to prepare students, and also get into adult education. Those of us that are still zero on knowledge, literacy, and numeracy, we take students from, we have left school for a while, you can return back to school. We also get into preparation for foreign exams, where we teach people for English tests, going for UK, US, Canada. We do IELTS, TOEFL, GMAT, GRE. These are foreign exams, tests for English, and you can also do all of that. We register students for online exams. They also basically register students for NYSC registration, also goes on in Jofia Academy. One unique one again is the mentorship plan and counseling section that goes on a weekly basis, motivating the youth, the teenagers, the young destiny. Many have left their purpose. We try as much as we can to restore them back in the place of counseling and mentorship plan. They will do our best to move on in life and getting ourselves equipped into the tech world. That's why this program is here to steer us up. You can learn as much as digital marketing. You can learn graphic and video editing. So let's do our best to engage. Many, beginning of the year, have several goals set for the year. And which have you started? That's why we spice our months on a monthly basis, try to spice our day with few of these captions to motivate us to get into the fundamentals, and that helps us to take better decisions. And these courses can happen online. Anywhere we are watching us from, you can take it online. You can also get in physical section. Encourage us as we get through the courses. Let's take decision. There are several things the world have moved into the tech world. It's important to launch ourselves into any of these sectors, and so that we can move on with our destinies and our purposes in different careers of our lives. God bless you. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, this program continues tomorrow, the same time, 4 p.m. And it's a monthly program, the last weekend of every month. And by the next month, again, we'll move on with another exciting topic. And I encourage us to stay tight as we round off even tonight, even as I welcome back Mr. Victor. God bless you, Victor.
Okay, thanks, Ma, for that insightful session and putting us in charge of taking attending the technology work. Okay, we're welcome back to module 3 of our lecture on data analytics. Okay, so the last module for today is centered on types of data analytics. Types of data analytics. Basically, data analytics is categorized into 4 types, and the first type here is actually focusing on descriptive analytics. And descriptive analytics aims to summarize data to provide key insights. This actually asks what happened. This asks what happened. That is, involves calculating summary measures, the major metrics, and data sets based on passing historical data to better understand changes that occurs in the business. So you actually wanted to know what is the change that happened from last month to this month. You want to describe. So the word descriptive is actually straightforward. It's self-explanatory by saying, okay, let's describe our data change. What changed in our revenue last month to this month? What changed? Okay, we have a profit of 3 million last month. We have 4 million profits this month. So you get to know that is what we call descriptive data analytics. Descriptive analytics, that is, you're able to describe how the data is being changed. So using a range of historical data and benchmarking. Decision makers obtain a holistic view of performance and trends on which to base business strategy. Now that this month is giving us 4 million profit, how can we make it 8 million profit the next month? That's one. So we need to improve on what we did this month so that next month we have a double profit. So all of that is in other description aspects. So basically, it helps to identify, focus on showing that and it answers the question what happened. Yeah, I've said that before. Answer the question what happened, and the major techniques is data aggregation, data visualization, and reporting. Yeah. So diagnostic analytics. This answer to the question why did it happen? Why did it happen? It answers to the question why it happened. And basically, it's focused on understanding why something happened. It goes beyond simply describing past events. You know, the last one was just describing past event and trying to do some comparison. But this one is basically trying to focus on why was there even a change, profit or there's a loss. Why? So you are trying to diagnose a problem to know the root cause. So the key aspect of diagnostic analytics is identifying the root causes. That is, pinpoint the underlying reasons or observe. The first one is for you to know the observed event. Once to know maybe there was a change. Now you want to know why that change happened, whether it's profit or loss. So these are different techniques and strategies, to actually carry out the data analytics. So under this diagnostic analytics again, to also understand that we have analyzing data patterns, looking for the patterns, looking for the anomalies. So you're looking for the correlations. So in the data to uncover insights. So actually, by the time you're trying to identify the root causes, you need to understand, this is the pattern this thing is moving. The anomalies, these are the shortcomings, these are the mode of movement and correlations like that. Explaining why events occurred. Explain why the events occurred. Now, I remember JAMB this year. There were little irregularity whereby due to some reasons, some students failed unexpectedly, or they failed in such a manner that it's not meant to be so. So I feel like data analysts in that particular sector, they need to what? Because everybody knows the problem, but they need to actually diagnose into the problem that problem should not actually come up in the soonest of time or anymore. So in that system, in that particular system, diagnostic analytics is very, very important because there's a problem. Even after there's remedy, fine. Some of them have to write it, but the problem was there. And the reason why that analytics has to always come to play is always then also, in the future, trying to avoid that particular problem. That's the major essence of diagnostic analytics. Then the next one, which is always connected to the diagnostic analysis. This type of analytics, they are more like a process in a way. Another look of it is more like a process. This predictive analysis, this one has to do with forecasting future outcome based on historical and current data. Now, let's say if you want to forecast what will happen in the future, you have to first understand what happened in the past and why did it happen. Before you can even, understand the technicalities and the techniques or strategies around predictive analysis, how to avoid what should happen in the future, how to improve on what should happen in the future. That means that you must have first, understand the intricacies around descriptive analytics. That is what has happened before and why they happened, and diagnostic diagnostic analytics. So that will help you to really explore and understand the metrics around predictive analytics. So it relies on analyzing large data sets to identify patterns and trends. You can use various statistical methods, including machine learning, so that that will help you to build models that will help you to understand data sets and how to predict proactive, make proactive decisions rather than reactive decisions. Okay, then the last aspect on this module, is prescriptive. It's what we call prescriptive analytics. It's what we call prescriptive analytics. And prescriptive analytics is basically it's talking about describing. And it's a form of analysis that goes beyond just describing what happened, or you want to diagnose, or you want to just predict. You are predicting into the future, but you are not prescribing yet. So prescribing is now like another step further. So this actually answers the question: what should we do? You are prescribing what to do now. Apart from what should happen in the future now, what this is action based prescriptive analytics. And then you want to this is the closest to decision making. In this place, you are talking about what is the action point now? What's the action based on what have happened, why things happened, what should happen in the future, and all that. So, but now, what should be prescriptive? So, by analyzing data and identifying optimal course of action. So, but though before you can also get your metrics around prescriptive analytics, what we should do to you need to understand that you need to have proper understanding of descriptive, predictive, and also the diagnostic. So basically, it helps in making recommendations, provides actionable insights and recommendations based on data analysis, optimization as well. It aims to optimize processes, strategies, or decisions to achieve specific goals. So you can definitely, based on what you have done so far on your analytics, you can describe that, okay, we should do this now. We should get more resources. We should make more adverts. So far, we have not been getting much customer because our advert. Oh, we are not. It's not because of adverts. It is because of what you have done in descriptive, what you have done in diagnostic, and what I've done in predictive. You can then prescribe that, okay, we should improve on our product itself. This is what competitors are doing. So data analytics basically it is basically talking about how decisions can help, how data-driven decisions can help business increase in value, how to accelerate business values. So that is what basically it is focusing on, and how to ensure optimizations, how to ensure observation and being proactive in the place of action. Being proactive in the place of action. So that is basically what the 4 types of analytics is. And the techniques to actually drive physical analytics is mathematical modeling, algorithms. We'll be looking on some of these tools and techniques as we continue on the session tomorrow, looking at some of the tools, how we can use some of the tools to action effects of data analytics and some other techniques that are very effective working with data. Okay. Before I go on a quick wrap up, I would like to receive questions. I don't know. As many of us that have questions, we can put them chat box. I would like to get questions from you. So the question period can, for aspect that you understand or aspect that you need more insight, show more insights to, and make clarity. So we can put our question on the chat box. So, if any of the areas is not clear, you can identify. You can identify. So okay, I'll be putting one or two questions on the chat box, and I will need people to respond to that on the chat box itself. So that's just to evaluate that. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Somebody is dropping a question and saying, please, I'm not clear with predictive analytics. Okay. I'm not clear with predictive analytics. Okay. All right. First of all, predictive analytics, answer the question. Done. It's answer the question, what might happen. So this predictive analytics is basically, talking about how to forecast future trends and outcomes, like how to actually predict. Okay, let me give an insight on this again. Let's say you want to predict that, okay, you need to first understand the word predict. That's where the insight is coming from. Predicting. You need to first understand you are predicting something. The thing does not happen. From your mind, you want that thing to happen, and that can only happen based on the system you have before. And if your system is not even in sync with that idea or decision you are spinning up with, what can you do to make that happen? So what might happen is basically, okay, let's say, let me use a football team to explain. Let's say a club like Real Madrid, based on the performance of Cristiano Ronaldo when he was in Man at first, during the time of 2007, 8, and 9. Those performances, the things he did in the Man, all of them are guided as data. He collected the Ballon d'Or. He scored maybe 100 goals in 5 months. He did that. He did this. He scored with head. He scored with both legs. He was defensive. He played midfield. He played striker at the same time. So all of them are data. Do you understand? So based on that, you can then now predict that, okay, if the management, Madrid management, if they could buy Ronaldo, it's just a prediction. That's what we call predictive analysis. It will help to what? It will help to accelerate, to improve the performance of Madrid, to help them get more trophies, to help the team move forward. Do you understand? So the same insight works in businesses. Let's get a better developer. Let's get a better workforce. If we need to make a change, let's get more resources. So because you have already predicted that, okay, in the last 5 years, and before Ronaldo came to Madrid, about 10 years before that, Madrid they've not gotten any Champions League. Yeah, that's what I mean. The Champions League is one of the highest, trophy at the club level. So in fact, that's the highest trophy at the club level. So that's an analytics, because apart from the players, coach, the management team has people that analyze for the club. That's the same way businesses. Every organization should have people that analyze for the business. People that predict that okay, this is January to June. This is our achievements. Now from July to December, if we need to achieve this, what are the things we need to predict that, okay, we need to achieve this and we should do this and do that. So predictive analytics actually works together with descriptive, with data that are already data that are already on ground available that you can analyze with and used to predict what can happen, what might happen, what should happen in the future. I don't know, maybe that answers your question. Madam Patricia Biden, I don't know if that answers your question. You can, all right. So I even wanted to drop a question on the group just to evaluate what we have done so far. Okay, thank you for that feedback. Thank you for the feedback. I wanted to even ask if question is, what is the primary data? I don't know if anybody can type a simple sentence on that. What is the primary data? And what's the primary data? We have 30 seconds more to wrap up this session. So I just want to evaluate that everyone in this session is actually listening and concentrating. The how intensely get that fact. So basically, that is also a way of collecting data as well. That is actually data analytics on its own. Okay. Primary data, anybody can give us an insight on that. All right. Primary data, basically, gather data from So progress is basically focusing on how getting data from the concerned individual or organizations. If you want to maybe they can do that with surveys, questionnaires, they can do that with direct interview or direct questioning. So that is what primary data. All right, thank you, Phil. You said primary data is the raw data that has not been worked on. That's fine. That's fine. That's the beautiful answer to that. Maybe you are like collecting the name, the phone number, they just collecting raw data from concerned individual organizations. So thank you very much for this edition of webinar. Though we have the last lap for this for this month's edition tomorrow. Continue tomorrow and the same time 4 p.m. Just the same link. So just connect with us, stay tuned and enjoy. Let me say the more concrete parts of this data analytics session. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Victor. Thank you to us from Jofia Academy. Jofia Academy, can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram page. You can follow us on LinkedIn. And our website is www.jofiaacademy.com. You can also email us. The phone number to connect us with is 080-3340-4949. Remember, this program is coming to you from Jofia Academy. We take tutorial classes for Nigerian exams, foreign exams, and computer courses. And this is exactly one of the courses we take, which you can take both physically and online. You can take it physically and online. So wherever you are in the surface of the earth, you can connect with us, and the course delivers the world we are in. It's not a time to procrastinate and begin to defer your goals. Let your goals set up immediately. The world is moving, and we just have to move on with the world. And just like he mentioned, these are monthly programs that holds every last Friday and Saturday of the month. And we encourage us to always join us as we'll be unveiling another course. Like last month, we took a different course, and this is another different course. Each month we come up with any of the courses which we are teaching, and this is one of them. So be alert. Also, tomorrow is the final section for this month, the same time, 4 p.m. Or you can also share the links. And just to inform us, this is also hooked up on YouTube, and we also will share the link, the YouTube link, later after the section. A lot of people were chatting. They had network issues that locked them out. So we'll be sharing the link for a review and also for us to get on. And remember, one of the programs we also use to encourage young youth is our counseling and mentorship program that happens every week in Jofia Academy, where we try to redirect the youth, the teenagers, the young adults, those that are in their careers, their relationship lives, their physical lives, decisions, choices. So many things are going on in mental issues, health issues, going on social challenges. So we try as much as we can to address many of all that and encourage us to be part of it on a regular basis. And thank you so much for joining us in this May edition, and hope to see you again tomorrow, the same time, 4 p.m. And we trust that we'll be able to deliver the second part of this course. God bless you, and have a beautiful weekend, and see you again tomorrow. Thank you, and thank you for the crew, as many that worked beneath the crews. So many people have been on the background doing this to make sure that they were able to deliver this. Thank you for every member of the crew in Jofia Academy, and thank you specifically for the facilitator this evening. God bless you. My name remains Mrs. Sophia Kiwamu. God bless you. Thank you.